Hello, and welcome to the first lockdown Sammys of the new year. And this is a special, what's called Burns, Marra, and all that. So we'll tell you more about all that in a minute once we've got things underway. So welcome, good to have you with us. Swan, what's coming up?
Yep. Welcome to Burns Night plus 1 week. We're extending Burns Night for a whole week, so we can do that. So you'll have had your haggis, but we'll kick off tonight with a Burns song. The Bucks are going to do it, minus Blackjack, who this month has been moving house to Blackjack Towers, just a bit up the road, so he's successfully done that. So the Bucks without Blackjack will do a song in which Rabbi introduces himself. It's a song that he wrote to commemorate his 28th birthday. Like Deacon Blue, he was born in a storm. The January wind that he talks about apparently destroyed part of his cottage while he was getting born, and several cottages round about. So here's the song anyway, in which we'll let Rabbi introduce himself. It's Rantin' Rovin' Robin.
Oh, there was a lad was born in Kyle, and what na day and what na style. I doubt it's hardly worth a while to be so nice with Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. Good mother time was year but 10, was 25 days begun. 'Twas there a blast o' January wind blew hands all in on Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. He'll hae misfortunes great and small, but I heard a Benjamin. He'll be a credit to us all, we'll all be proud of Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. But as sure as 3 times 3 mak 9, I'll swear by ilka score and line, this lad will dearly like your kind, so leads me on Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' rovin'.
Right, the Bucks and Rantin' Rovin' Robin. We're not getting much time or chance to do ranting and roving these days, but we look forward to that time coming round again. So tonight, as you've gathered, is called Burns, Marra and all that, and we have to thank our pal Leslie Reid in Edinburgh for the idea of having a Burns night. And when we thought about it, we thought, let's make it a night of Scottish song, and if we're celebrating the contribution of Burns, then we want to also celebrate the contribution of Michael Marra, of whom you'll hear more over the course of the evening. But Marra, who's sadly no longer with us, the legendary Lochie songwriter, and we'll have a number of Michael's songs over the course of the evening. And in keeping with that, we're suggesting that you might consider making a donation to a project that's been inspired by Michael's legacy. It's called Optimistic Sound, and Optimistic Sound helps to raise funds for Systema Scotland's project in Dundee, which helps youngsters to learn musical instruments. So it's a good thing. You can go to their Facebook page, see more about it, and if you will, think of making a wee contribution. So the first Michael song that we're going to have tonight is called The Fold, and it's done by Muldoon's Picnic. And then that's going to be followed up by another Michael, dear to us, Michael Simon. And Michael's going to play a couple of Burns tunes on that lovely guitar of his. And he's going to play the Lyric and Auld Lang Syne. So here we have it, Muldoon's Picnic and Michael Simon.
Sometimes when the cold wind blows and mischief moves around, when the best intentions of our hearts and minds may be then made weary, may be then made blind, our trial is on our senses, the hearsay of the cold. Lead us to the fold. Sometimes when the night winds blow and whispers make their way, when reputations can be lost or found, and a kind word leads to solid ground, oh, mercy, then befriend us to temper all we're told. Lead us to the fold. Oh, in this heaven, far from above, those who have stumbled and fallen need our love. Our trial is on our senses, the hearsay of the cold. Lead them to the fold. Oh, lead them to the fold.
Hi there, here are a couple of Burns pieces for you. Thank you.
That was great. That was the fantastically talented Michael Simons and Muldoon's Picnic. And Muldoon's Picnic usually do a sort of Christmas oldie Englishy carol service in the Glad Cafe. So we missed that very much this year. So it was great to see you, Muldoon's Picnic, on the online. So the next two songs we've put together because they're both kind of holiday songs, and by Jove, are we not needing a holiday just now? So if you're feeling the need to get away a wee bit, then you can get away a wee bit with these next two songs. The first one is by Chloe Mataru. It's called Small Voyages, and Chloe says that she wrote this inspired by her time when she was working as officer of the watch on coastal tankers around Scotland. So that's Chloe, A Life on the Ocean Wave. And then we've got our pal Jim King, and Jim's song is called West Coast Days, and it's if you fancy a wee trip down the Clyde, you can do that with Jim here. So Chloe and Jim.
Smooth voyages that take a night and day, rocking around as you head away, not noticing the months you'll be away, counting the hours on 4 delays, counting the miles left in your way. Smooth voyages, safe havens, homecomings. This is what you do Smooth voyages, the ones you remember best. North, how far you're going to travel west, or if you're in and out of hours of rest, struggling on the Pentland Firth, trying to keep your course. Smooth voyages, safe havens, homecomings. This is what you do with
there's a warm wind blowing in August, cuts the air right out of the day, carries the scent of the shorelines across the lowlands on his way. And I'll take a train out of Central, right down to West Kilbride, stand on the beach at Sea Mill, where the ocean meets the Clyde, and gaze across at the smoky hills, the islands in the haze, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days. Standing outside Nottingham with a favour to make you smile, catch a ferry and rent some wheels, cruise the island for a while. Day cools down and the sea lights up with 1,000 neon signs. I'll head home with a hot fish supper wrapped in yesterday's evening times, and gaze across at the smoky hills, the islands in the haze, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days. I hear stories people tell, recalling summertime dreams, sailing down the water to Rossi, sand castles in the Bay of Queens. Maybe those times will come no more, forgotten good old days. No more steamers going down the Clyde, just sleepy West Coast ways. I gaze across at the smoky hills, the islands in the haze, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days. When there's a warm wind blowing in August, it cuts the air right out of the day, carries the scent of the shorelines across the lowlands on his way. Then I'll take a train out of Central, right down to West Kilbride, stand on the beach at Sea Mill, where the ocean meets the Clyde, and I'll gaze across at the smoky hills, the islands in the haze, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days, on just another one of those sleepy West Coast days.
Okay, Chloe and Jim, lovely. Thank you very much. Good to have self-written work. Is that what you call it? You know, of writers who perform on Sammy's. Always enjoy that. Appreciate that. And now we've got two songs coming up that are really sort of protest songs. The second of these, another self-written,
Self-righteous.
written by the person who's singing it. So one of our new pals, Lenny Carson, has written a song called Greta, about Greta. And it also gives us the opportunity to just note in passing the passing of the Trump presidency. Just a wee pause to savour that. Isn't that good? And Trump actually makes an appearance in Lenny's song, so you can dance around the room at that point if that is how you're moved. So that's the second of these two songs. The first is a song that I'm sure you'll know. It's called Parcel of Rogues, a Burns song. At least part of it probably Burns. And he actually, Burns, I've got a wee quote from Burns himself. I mean, he wrote it at the time. We haven't been in touch. But so in 1790, Robert Burns asked, "What are all the advantages which my country reaps from the Union that can counterbalance the annihilation of her independence and even her very name? Nothing can reconcile me to the terms." So it's a wee bit of a foretaste of the move towards independence. And who better to sing it for us than our good old pal from Enfield in London, Phil White. So here we have Phil and then Lenny.
Farewell, farewell to all our fame. Farewell, our ancient glory. Farewell even to our Scottish name, say famed in martial story. Now Sacrans o'er the Solway sands and Tweed runs to the ocean to mark where England's province stands. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation. What force or guile could not subdue through many warlike ages is wrought now by a coward few, for hireling traitors' wages. The English steel we could distrain, secure in Valor station, but English gold has been our bane. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation. Oh, would ere I had seen the day that treason thus could fail us. My old grey heed had lain in clay with Bruce and loyal Wallace, but pith and power till my last hour I'll mark this declaration. We were bought and sold for English gold. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation, but pith and power till my last hour I'll mark this declaration. parcel of rogues in the nation.
tell them your humanity outweighs the hate.
My message is that we'll be watching you.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean.
Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying.
Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We're in the beginning of a mass extinction. And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight.
You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency, but no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that.
If you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe, and that I refuse to believe, and that I refuse
Okay, some excellent sentiments there, and give yourself a pat in the back if you recognise the drummer, the paper drummer on Linny's track there. Okay, so next up we'll get John Mack and Anthony McGrath. Now, obviously, we're always pleased to see John, but especially pleased to see Anthony, because Anthony was a regular when we were doing the open mic in the Glad Cafe, and any time he performed, it was really beautiful performance.
That was lovely, yeah.
So I was kind of missing him online, that he hadn't been in touch, and then he sent one in, so he's gonna do a song for us tonight. So that's excellent.
So the song that Anthony's doing is called it's a Burns song. It's set to an absolutely lovely tune. It's called Sweet Afton, or Flow Gently, Sweet Afton. So Anthony's doing that, and just with the kind of remarkable polish that all our introductions have, we've linked that up with the son of Cumnock, John McIntosh. Cumnock is in the Afton kind of valley, at least I think. And John is now. Is now, yeah. New Cumnock's in the Afton Valley, certainly. But John will keep me right. And John is doing a Michael Marra song. And this particular song is called Heaven's Hound. And it's one of, as far as I know, it's one of the last songs that Michael recorded. It's one of a couple of songs that he wrote where a visit to Heaven's Gate is involved. And it's an absolutely lovely song. It's got a kind of mythic quality to it. And he recorded it on his last record, House Room, along with the Hazy Janes, the band where his son Matthew and his daughter Alice, they both play. And so in the recorded version of it, which you should have a listen to, it's just gorgeous. You can hear them singing with their dad. I'm going to fill up if I don't stop. So you'll hear John singing that song with a wee bit of help from some relatives. So John McIntosh and Anthony McGrath.
Was a cold and a rainy night, the lodging bell rung. Come open up and let us in, my darling is done. We have come along on a rocky road, the young voice did call. Let us lie down and rest, and bid peace to you all. But there came no reply, and they slowly moved on. Not even a light there to guide the forlorn. As he steadied her shoulder, he sang soft and low. Should the Lord take my darling, then I also must go to that heavenly shore. In the light we'll arrive. We have only a love here to keep us alive. If all else has failed us, we'll travel no more. We will bathe in the light of that heavenly shore. Oh, the young woman stumbled, and finally she fell, and her husband, he cried out the anguish of hell, as he held her close to him, a moment of grace. Then a hound moved beside them, and it licked at her face. Oh, the husband was angry, and he railed at the hound, but his sweetheart was smiling as she slowly came round. Oh, I had a dream I had made heaven's gate, There was no sign of you, so they told me to wait on that heavenly shore. In the light we'll arrive. We have always a love here to keep us alive. So help me, for we have a long way to go before we bathe in the light on that heavenly shore. On that heavenly shore, in the light we'll arrive. We have always our love here to keep us alive. So help me, for we have a long way to go before we bathe in the light on that heavenly shore.
Flow gently, sweet afternoon, among thy green graves. Flow gently, sweet river, and sing thee sweet praise. My Mary is asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet afternoon, disturb not her dream. Thou stockbird whose echo resounds through the glen, you wild whistling blackbird by yon thorny den, thou green-crested linnet, thy screaming forbear, I charge you disturb not my slumbering fair. How pleasant, sweet afternoon, my neighbouring hills, part bound by the reaches of clear winding rills. There daily I wander as moon rises high, like flocks in my Mary, sweet caught in my eye. How pleasant thy banks and green valleys below, where wild in the woodland the primroses blow. There oft as the mild evening weeps o'er the lea, thy sweet scented birk shade my Mary and me. Crystal stream Afton, how lovely it glides, winds past the cot where my Mary resides. How gentle thy waters her snowy feet lay, as gathering sweet flowers she stems thy clear way. Flow gently, sweet afternoon, among thy green graves. Flow gently, sweet river, the theme of my lays. My Mary is asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet afternoon, disturb not her dream.
Okay, great, and we'll continue with that sort of a relative theme now, because I've persuaded Iona to do a wee song, and Rachel and me are going to sort of play on it, and it's a song from the time of the clearances in Morven, written by Tormard MacLeod, and it's called Farewell to Funerary. And there's a good chorus, so want to hear you all singing along. And then we'll follow that up with a song by our friend Ferg. And Ferg is doing a song by Sandy Wright called My Shining Star. So Iona and Fergus.
Is fair, the day is fine, and swiftly, swiftly runs the time. The boat lies waiting on the tide to carry me from Funerary. Thousand tender ties awake this day, my plaintive sighs, my heart within me almost dies at the thought of leaving Funerary. We must stop and taste away. We must stop and haste away. We must stop and haste away. Farewell, farewell to Funerary. We must stop and taste away. We must stop and haste away. We must stop and haste away. Farewell, farewell to Funerary. We must stop and taste away. We must stop and haste away. We must stop and haste away. Farewell, farewell to Funerary. We must stop and haste away. We must stop and haste away. We must stop and haste away. Farewell, farewell to Funerary.
One for stormy times. When the storm was raging, the sky was black. Your light came to me in a bar, and it took me to my journey's end. You were my shining star. Can I stay with you, my shining star? Everything The sun is eclipsed, 'cause there you are. You were my shining star. When the moon was hid behind the clouds, your light shone through them from afar, made the stony paths like diamonds bright. You were my shining star. Can I stay with you, my shining star? Everything that I need seems to be where you are. The sun is eclipsed, 'cause here you are. You were my shining star. Can I stay with you, my shining star? Everything that I need seems to be where you are. The sun is eclipsed, 'cause there you are. You were my shining, were my shining. You were my shining star.
Yeah, okay, so I suspect that the link from those songs to the next couple would be that phrase, from the sublime to the ridiculous. Because coming up, we've got Dr. Bruce Lowe, and he's performing some of what I believe Michael Marra would have called the Doric side of the moon. So he's going to do a song called The Tradesman's Pluin Match at Hogmanay. And if you listen carefully, you might understand those words in his performance. But unless you're from the Northeast yourself, you probably won't understand any more of it. And that's going to be followed up by our own resident strange people, the Smurfs. So Blackjack, having moved house, was able to sort of manufacture this using his band, the Smurfs. It's probably the only time this evening that we're touching on any of the big bands, the big Scottish bands that I thought would be sent in for tonight's event. So they're doing a Deacon Blue song in their own inimitable way. Luckily, it is inimitable. And I thought, in that Brycey was reading from Burns, that it would be appropriate here to read from Brother Jack Kerouac, that famous passage from On the Road, where he says, the only people for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time, the ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles, exploding like spiders across the stars, and in the middle you see the blue center light pop, and everybody goes, oh. So, go, oh, and welcome Dr. Bruce Lowe, and then the Smurfs.
I've been at Pluin marches round on the countryside. I've seen them by the dawn in day and bonny different side. But ain't it all be heard about for mony year and day. There's a tradesman's Pluin march in Hogmanay. We had grocers, we had millers, we had butchers, we had killers, we had suitors and watchmakers, we had druggists, we had bakers. with black horse and white horse, brown and double grey, and the tradesmen's blood march and hogmanay. Wish I had backed Jean Crockford's done, had up your head my body loom, Jock your day and grand, had up a head no down, I heard the village saith, at the tradesmen's blood march and hogmanay. Well, a smithy that gitless bear is ever getting changed, and the smith's feet he got aggert up a night upon his rounds. His fluid struck a big stain at happy pair to reel, but the smithy got him medal for being the quickest off the field. Well, the cycle man, his whim got dean, he said he was tired, and the baker he supplied the box, and he got fairly fired. And the tailor stick at his in and roared, your fairing's gone astray, and the tradesmen's pulling march and hogmanay. Wish I had bought Jean Crockford's dad, had up your head my bonny loonman, Jock your day and grand, had up a head no time. I heard the village say, and the tradesmen's pulling march and hogmanay. Well, a plumber he did lead the way afternoon he gasped, and soon that he was fairly sold, but his name was read out last. And the publican was off he chuffed, his land beast was a bucker, he loused and modified himself with a pint of Johnny Walker. As the postie had a chutney rig, he trumped and he stumped, and the slater he did retire. Then both his hands he crumpet, and the banker lost his interest when the bar closed for the day, and the tradesmen's pulling march and hogmanay. Wish I had backed Jean Crockford's done, had up your head my bonny looming, Jock your day and grand, had her up a hen no down. I heard the village say, and the tradesmen's pulling march and hogmanay. Well, the fishman didn't get a place for working our salmon, but the guinea never turned to hear as funny looking Brahmin, and the ice cream on his cutting brew, his pores were cookie boogie, and the poultry merchant got the cup and was making a cookie. The best looking bloomin', the gardener dressy bra, he got a medal, he deserved it. A flower among them all, and the brewer he got brisk and stout and younger every day, but he can't carry the pulling march and hogmanay. Wish I had backed Jean Crockford's done, had up your head my bonny one, Jock your day and grand, had her up a hen no down. I heard the village say, and the tradesmen's pulling march and hogmanay. Well, the price is pulling march, like nothing else you can. With speeches and good woolly chuff, it all get to an end. And the whiskey on the bar flare, it liked to water run, but it was little day the billies fell Jimmy's berry bond. Way, bothy ball is sung in jest, the fun was fast and furious. So if you've never made a bloomin' rut, and you feel a bit curious, then mind the day, don't be late. Be sure to wend your way, dead, a tradesman, pulling march and hogmanay.
About the big world and the high sky. So walk a little in a long mile to be sure your eyes can see the right side to see. Pale girl in a blue room with a pink dress and a white smile. See, pale girl in a blue room with a pink dress and a white smile. You've got a little way to go the midnight and a wee wee bells had gave me courage for my heart to tell a seeing pale girl in a room with a pink dress and a white smile needed pink smile on a dark night from the right girl to be sure it's right I see a pale girl in a room with a pink dress and a white smile needed pink smile on a dark night from the right girl to be sure it's right. The right girl. You need the right girl. Come on, baby. You need the right girl. I'm working on it. Right
Okay, so Bruce Lowe and the Smiths, marvellous, remarkable really, when you think about it. So after that, let's get back with the programme. So we're going to have another Burns song, another Marra song. So first up, we've got Laurie McIntosh, and Laurie is singing what I think is one of many people's favourite Burns songs, The Lyric. And then we have...
Yep, after the Lyric, which, oh, I love that song. Another song that I really love, one of Michael's songs, and it's Matthew and Gregor Philp are going to do it. It's If I Was an Englishman, which I love because it's just that reminder that just because you love your own culture and your country and what you know, does not mean that you need to denigrate or rubbish somebody else's culture. So it's the song in which Michael talks about his great respect and love for English culture. So we'll finish the first half with that one.
When o'er the hill the eastern star tells bucked and time is near my jaw, and I soon flee the furrowed field, returns a dull-found weary-o, down by the barn where barking pots we do our hanging clear, my Joe. I'll meet thee on the leading main Candidio. At midnight hour in Marcus Glen I'd rove and there be if through that glen I gave to thee mine Candidio. Although the night were ne'er say wild and I were ne'er say weary, I'll meet thee on the lyric main Candidio. The hunter loves the morning sun to rise the mountain deer, my Joe. At noon the fisher seeks the glen, and down the burn to steer, my Joe. Give me the hour on gloaming grey, it makes my head set
I'd like to do this song by my dear friend Michael. If I Was an Englishman. I've always loved this song. He would describe it as a celebration of English culture, which he loved. And he didn't like that some of his mates on the folky scene, some quite famous, were a bit cheesed off that the Irish and the Scots and the Welsh, they had loads of culture and what have the English got? But he was like, well, you've got everything. So this is called If I Was an Englishman. This is my son Matthew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. If I was an Englishman, I'd sing and dance and play. I'd dig out all the old ones and beseech you, he'd dare say their visions of a better life in a land as bright as day. I'd do my William Morris dance and I'd be on my way. I'd do my William Morris dance and I'd be on my way. If I was an Englishman, I'd sing and dance all night. Sing a song of Thomas Paine, of darkness and of light. I'd fire my favourite candles up for Cobden and O'Bright. I'd do my Stanley Spencer dance and exit to the right. I'd do my Harold Pinter dance and exit to the right. If I was an Englishman, I'd raise my voice and sing. I'd enter in the House of Lords and let the rafters ring. I'd sing of all those noblemen, of cabbages and kings. I'd do my Arthur Muller dance and chuck them in the bin. I'd do my Norman Wisdom dance, chuck them in the bin. I'd do my Norman Wisdom dance, chuck them in the bin. Here's to Michael.
Okay, so that was lovely. That was Laurie, ably assisted by Brycey on guitar, whistle and clarsach. What a man of many talents he is. And the lovely If I Was an Englishman. So I guess we'll start the second half with this next song, which is not so much a song about the dangers of denigrating somebody else's culture. It's a song about the danger of denigrating your own culture, hating yourself, which it seems to be a propensity that we Scots are quite good at, this idea of the Caledonian cringe, or a Kentish feather, that we can't get good because we're too wee, too small and too stupid. So this is a song by the fantastic Dumb Instrument, who played a blinder of a gig at the Glad Cafe a while back there. So I got in touch with them and said, look, I love your video for Suffering from Scottishness. Can we show it? And he went, oh, we'd be pleased if you show it. The Glad Cafe is our favourite venue to play at. So if you haven't seen this before, prepare yourself for a life-changing experience. That's Dumb Instrument with Suffering from Scottishness. And we'll follow that up with the Glad Cafe's own Joe Smiley. And Joe's doing a song by his mate, great songwriter, full of humanity, Jamie Scott. And Joe wants to pour you a perfect pint.
It was windy, trees were bendy, I was staring at my knee. I was in Brighton in a taxi. Taxi driver says to me, what's wrong, pal? You look depressed. I said, I'm suffering from Scottishness. Oh, for Christ's sake, I like shortcake, and if I'm happy, it feels fake. I dream in tartan, about Dumbarton. I think I failed when I'm only starting. Oh yes, I must confess that I'm suffering from Scottishness. In the toilet of a bar, then the gadget in the mirror, he says, who do you think you are? You're nothing, you're just a mess. You're an advert for Scottishness. Taxi driver, he stopped the cab.
He passed me straight to the nearest pub. His arm around me, he did his best to make me see how my wife was blessed. So I marked him with my glass, and now he's suffering from Scottishness.
Hi there, this is a song by my friend Jamie Scott. He's a Scottish songwriter. It's called Perfect Pint. It references a Scottish Health Board advert from the 90s, which you might remember if you're of my vintage, warning against the dangers of underage binge drinking. It also references pouring someone a perfect pint, which I wish I could do
for you guys at the Glad Cafe, but here we are anyway. This was Perfect Pint. I wish that I could pour you out the perfect pint, just to melt into the scenery, our sore heads at the end of the week, the same routines. Through the Clyde tunnel we tried not to breathe. I swear I could have been someone. I had it all at my feet. We were both under the thumb. I'm a man of my era, don't you know? A man of my time, Sarah, I really fancy you so. How about it? Sarah, I fancy you so. I wish that I could pour you one more. It's like wading through quick water, trying to keep the wolf from the door. And so we slough my IKEA physique, and sunlight squints through a half-drunk glass. We didn't speak, the silence spoke for us all. Now I swear I wasn't built for the grind. Though they turn on the lights, it's not the end of my night. I'm a man of my era, don't you know? A man of my time, Sarah, I could have been someone, so what do you say? Sarah, I had it all, and I'm a man of my era, don't you know? A man of my time, Sarah, I really fancy you so. How about it?
Okay. So Joe, always good, always lovely, and Dumb Instrument. If you've never heard it before, you've now heard it, and the future will never be the same. So next up we have our dear pal Wendy, and Wendy's doing a Burns song. It's called I Walkin' O, and Burns comes in for some flack because of his thing with women, but and this is one song where he actually writes from the woman's perspective about longing and thinking about their partner. It's lovely, and Wendy does it beautifully. She's accompanied by some of the usual suspects, but also one of her pals called Brenda Roddy. So we would say a particular welcome to Brenda playing at the first Sammy's for the very first time. And then after I Walkin' O, we have your pal and my pal Warbeck. And Warbeck is, of course, a classic exponent of Marra, and he is going to perform and introduce to you the great Marra song, Hermless. So, Wendy and Warbeck.
pleasant time. Flowers of every colour, water runs o'er the hill, and I long for my true lover. I walking home, walking still and weary. Sleep I can get nae, for thinking of my dearie. I walking home. When I sleep I dream, when I wake I'm weary. Sleep I can get nae, for thinking of my dearie. I walking home, walking still and weary. Sleep I can get nae, for thinking of my dearie. I walking lonely night comes on, and all the lovers sleeping. Think on my bonny love, and blur my eyes with weeping. I walking home, walking still and weary. Sleep I can get nae, for thinking of my dearie. I walking home, walking still and weary. Sleep I can get nae, for thinking of my dearie. I
I'm going to do this song of Michael's that most of you will know. It's called Harmless. Michael's response to the quest for an unmilitaristic version of the national anthem. He thought that Flower of Scotland and Scotland the Brave and Scots were hay for that matter, are too full of people wading in other people's blood. So this is Harmless. My hand on my heart, and my heart in my mouth, we arms that would reach o'er the sea. My feet might be big, but the insects are safe. They'll never get stood on by me. Harmless, there's never nae bother for me. I gang to the library I tak out a book, and then I ging home for my tea. I save all the coupons that come with the soup, and when I have saved 53, I send our 50, put 3 in the drawer, and something gets posted to me. Hairless, hairless, there's never nae bother for me. I do what I'm told, and I tidy my room, and then I come down for my tea. There's one or twa folk that I could cry my chums. They're canny and meek as can be. There's Tom wi' his pigeons, and Wall wi' his mice, and Robert McLennan and me. Hairless, hairless, there's never nae bother for me. I gang to the library, I tak out a book, and then I come home for my tea. Hairless, hairless, there's never nae bother for me. Naebody noticed that I was nae there if I didnn't come home for my tea. Harmless by Michael Marra. Clyde Estuary and Zelda the dog, who's indifferent to all of this.
So I remember going to a gig, Brycey, with you in the early 90s at the Blue Note in that sort of fish hall in Glasgow.
That's good.
Eh?
The old fish market.
The old fish market, that's right. And our mate Phil was putting the gig on. He was working there at the time. And Michael spent the night at Phil's place. And then in the morning, Michael wanted 2 fried eggs for his breakfast. So Phil was sort of bohemian living in the West End at the time. He was taking them around all these sort of fancy West End eateries where they couldn't get 2 fried eggs. So eventually Michael said to Phil, take me for the dafties eat. Michael Marra. Next up, we've got who we've been calling Katie Boyle over the last few weeks, forgetting that we were both at our wedding a year or so ago in Ireland. It's Katie Reardon.
Have we been introducing her as Katie Boyle?
I always call her Katie Boyle. Katie Reardon.
Katie Reardon. Katie Reardon.
Katie's going to play some, she's the best fiddle player we know, so she's going to play some fiddle for us. And after Katie, we'll agree.
Spawn, you're putting yourself down again. Yeah, you know.
After Katie, we've got Graham Robertson. Graham's doing a Mike Scott song called Sunny Sailor Boy. And the chorus of that is in Mermaid. So if you speak Mermaid at all, then you can sing along with Graham. Yeah.
Are you saying mermaid?
Mermaid.
Mermaid. Oh, okay. Of course, right.
Continuing the fishy imagery.
Yeah.
So, okay. And Graham.
So I'm going to play a tune from Shetland, a Scottish tune. The Shetland and Donegal fiddlers have a great deal in common, and this tune was played at mine and my husband's wedding. It's called the Bridal March.
a day of days I stood and gazed over the western sea, startled and struck, frightened to look, when a mermaid called to me. Ooh, wow, wow, ooh, wow, wow, my sunny sailor boy. Ooh, wow, wow, ooh, wow, wow, my sunny sailor boy. Like a man in a dream, for an age it seemed, I stood as still as a stone, while the mermaid sang and her melody rang like a memory calling me home. Ooh, wow, wow, ooh, wow, wow, my sunny sailor boy. Ooh, wow, wow, ooh, wow, wow, my sunny sailor boy. And the sea and the wind and the shores did spin, though my resistance was strong. All the stars in space filled the mermaid's face, she captured my will with her song. Wow, 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 my sunny sailor boy. Wow, 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 my sunny sailor boy. Somehow I spoke, the enchantment broke, I rubbed my eyes open wide. Like a dream she was gone, what remained was a song, born of the ebbing tide. Wow, 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 my sunny sailor boy. Wow, 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 my sunny sailor boy. Wow, 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 my sunny sailor boy.
I do love a Burns supper myself, but one of the things that concerns me a wee bit about the Burns cult is that in Scotland we seem very good at saying, oh well, we've got Rabbie Burns, so we don't really need anybody else, and we're very good at ignoring or just not finding about other Scottish talent. Like, I remember we went to see the premiere of that movie about Hamish Henderson, Hamish, and the director was there, and in the Q&A afterwards, he was saying, yeah, we made the film really starting from the very basics, because we'd done some research and we discovered that 1 in 10 people had heard of Hamish Henderson. You know, the most interesting major figure of 20th century Scotland, and 1 in 10 Scots had heard of Hamish Henderson. So, you know, that was one of the reasons we wanted to start the Glad Cafe, to try to promote the amount of talent nowadays and in the past, you know, who have, you know, emerged from this culture. So one of the pieces that's coming up now is a fiddle piece, a musical piece by a piper called Gordon Duncan. So you might have heard of Gordon Duncan, but you might not have. But Gordon Duncan, he is the sort of the major influence on modern Scottish piping. Fantastic guy and fantastic piper. He drove the bin lorry in Perthshire. and wrote tunes on cigarette papers during his break. Fantastic piper who's really sort of influenced all the sort of young pipers around just now. And we're going to play this, one of his tunes called The Sleeping Tune. And the story behind The Sleeping Tune is that Gordon was at the Inter-Celtic Folk Festival in Lorient in Brittany. And as usual, he won the piping prize, the Macallan Piping Prize, which was a bottle of Macallans and 100 quid or something. So of course, being Gordon, he tanned the prize immediately and spent the rest of the money on more of the same, and collapsed on the table in the bar that he was in. So he woke up in the morning with a tune in his head, and he played it around all the folk at the festival to see what the tune was, and nobody recognised it. So he came to the conclusion that he had written it. So that's how the Sleeping Tune emerged. Now, if you don't know Gordon Duncan, just go to YouTube, put in Gordon. If you put in Gordon Duncan and Duncan Chisholm, you'll hear Duncan Chisholm playing this tune properly, and it's you'll be in tears listening to it. So that's coming up here, and also the other thing that's coming up is Trembling Bells, and I've asked them if we can play this again, because there are so many sort of creative musicians playing just now in Scotland, just doing their own thing. And Trembling Bells, you know, they are so creative, and it doesn't seem as if they're sort of responding to the status quo or standing against the status quo. It's almost as if they don't realise there is a status quo, and they're just in their own little bubble of creativity doing these fantastic things. So we'll start off here with Trembling Bells doing Hallelujah, and then Rachel and myself playing Gordon Duncan's The Sleeping Tune.
Christ was one of us.
good job. Very good job indeed.
Right, Trembling Bells and the Swan and Rachel. Lovely stuff. Okay, next up we have A Dan's a Dan for all that. We've got our good old pal Dan doing one of the big Burns numbers. And this, of course, was the song that was sung at the opening of the Scottish Parliament when it first reopened about just over 10 years ago. Yeah. And just when Swan was talking earlier on about celebrating Scottish culture, if you've never looked at the opening of the last opening of Parliament, the most recent session getting opened, then look up Jackie Kay. Jackie Kay is a Scots macker, and she's a great poet, she's a great woman, and she wrote the poem to open the Scottish Parliament for this term, and you want to see it. It is just a belter. So that's on the web. You can go and find that. So first off, Dan Burns and A Man's a Man for all that. And then it's myself, and I'm going to do a Marra song. Now, Michael wrote a number of songs called Somebody's Visit to Somewhere. I think probably 5. There's Bob Dylan's Visit to Edinburgh, to Embra, as he called it. General Grant's Visit to Dundee. Mac Rebennack's Visit to Blair Gowrie, celebrating the remarkable time Dr. John played in rural Perthshire. King Kong's Visit to Glasgow. And then this one, I think this was the latest of the 5 that he wrote, Frida Kahlo's Visit to the Taybridge Bar. And in one of the great things about seeing Michael live was that the introductions to his songs were as carefully crafted as the songs themselves. And so the introduction to Frida Kahlo is also a thing of beauty. He says that he wanted to paint. He was obviously very struck by Frida Kahlo, the Mexican painter, and he wanted to do a painting of her, which he tried to do, but he wasn't happy with it. So he decided he would write a song, and he decided that in this song, she should be happy and healthy. And in Michael's view, she wasn't during her lifetime. Nor was she single, so he decided that the only way to resolve this was to set the song after her death. So the story is of Frida going up to the Pearly Gates, the other Heaven's Gate song. And when she gets there, the gates are jammed shut, Michael says, for want of recent use. And St. Peter advises her to go back and wait. And in the meantime, she should wait in the Taybridge bar, which of course was Michael's haunt. But as he says, well, she could hardly be expected to wait at Bissell's, another less salubrious pub in Dundee. So this is Frida Kahlo's visit to Taybridge bar. In fact, he did do a painting, and it's not at all bad. And the painting is now in the Taybridge bar. You can see it. And here is, can you see that? Is that working, Swan? Yeah. So that is the painting in the foreground being presented to the owner of the Taybridge bar by Michael's family. So that's Alice, and in the middle, Peggy, his wife, and at the other end, his son Matthew. So the painting now has its place of honour. So here we have Dan Welsh, and what?
You want to just mention the reference of the Fat Man in the song?
Oh yeah. So the Fat Man he refers to in the song is Diego Rivera, and Diego Rivera was her husband, and he too was an artist. And Michael's understanding, I think he's not alone in this, was that he was not the best of husbands to her. An aside about Diego Rivera is, if you've never seen Kevin Bridges' riff on Diego Rivera, that's worth looking up, talking of celebrating Scottish culture in all its fullness. So I think that's enough of an introduction for these two songs. So another Burns song from Dan, a Marra song from myself. Here we go.
Hi Sammy's, Happy New Year and Happy Burns Night. A man's a man for all that. Is there for all his poverty that hangs his head and all that? The coward slave passing by, we dare be good for all that, for all that and all that, our toils obscure and all that. The rank is but the guinea stamp, the man's a good for all that. What no one hate the fair we dine, we're hungry and all that. He fools ourselves, their wives, their wine, a man's a man for all that, for all that and all that, the tinsel so and all that. The honest man, though I say poor, is king o' men for all that. You see young Bertie, Carolor, with struts and stairs and all that. Though hundreds worship at his word, he's but a coof luck, Sammys. Have a good night. Hope to see you soon.
Hello, this is a Michael Marra song, and it's Frida Kahlo's visit to the Taybridge Bar. We're all flooded with a scarlet light, came through the window with the rain outside. All at once a vision appeared, with a rose in her hair and a ring in her ear, and she said, "Buenos dias, boys, this looks like the place to make my re-entry to the human race." She said, "Here I am and it's here I'll stay, till it's hasta la vista and I'm on my way." Vince said she was a woman to whom life had been cruel, lived with a fat man of the naive school. He liked his beer and he put it about. She truly loved him till the lights went out, and then she made her way up to the pearly gates. Saw St. Peter, he was pumping weights. He said, "Hitch a ride on that fallen star, make your way down to the Taybridge Bar. There'll be no more lies, no more tears, no more listening through the fat man's ears. There'll be no more tears and no more lies, no more looking through the fat man's eyes." She said she'd never felt so happy in a long, long time, and her mind was relaxed and her body felt fine. Put on Perdido, tonight's the night, I'm gonna dance with Jimmy Howie in the pale moonlight. And there'll be no more lies and no more tears, no more listening through the fat man's ears. There'll be no more tears and no more lies, no more looking through the fat man's eyes. We were all flooded with the scarlet light.
Okay, chums, we're almost there. We'll be picking the 250 Club winners, and names of the winners will be appearing as per usual. Congratulations to you for winning a prize. But still a few more turns left before we end. And next up, we've got Jack Law's band, Raging Twilight, and they're doing a lovely version of one of Michael's songs called Posted Sober.
Posted Sober is the name of the album that the song comes from, and I was lucky enough to get a demo copy of this album. I know this guy who used to go up and visit Michael at his home in Ayleth, I think it is, sort of one of the wee Perthshire towns, and he took, I don't know why he told Michael that I was. This guy he knew in Glasgow was something of a fan. Anyway, one day this fella turned up at my house and said, "Michael asked me to give this to you." And it was a C90 cassette. And on one side of it was the newly completed Posted Sober, the full title, Scribbled Down Drunk and Posted Sober. And on the other side of it was an album called The Word on the Pavey by St Andrew. And I know we're just littering recommendations all over the place, but if you've never come across The Word on the Pavey by St Andrew, get on YouTube. It is just absolutely brilliant. And Michael, as well as being a writer and a singer and a performer, he also was a great producer, and he produced that album. It's just brilliant. It's immensely funny and immensely well made. Anyway, so that's Posted Sober. And then you'll have been wondering, when are we going to have Ernie? Well, here he is. Ernie's coming up. And Ernie is singing just one of the most beautiful love songs ever written. Of course, it's A Fond Kiss. And Burns wrote it as his farewell to a woman whom in his correspondence he addressed as Clarinda. She lived in Edinburgh, but she was leaving to go to be reunited with her estranged husband in the West Indies, I think. And so this A Fond Kiss is his parting message to her. And who better to deliver it for us than Ernie? So here we have Raging Twilight and Ernie McClintock.
Postmark meant it was a rainy day. She opened the envelope anyway, read the paper with a heartfelt sigh. She was already crying, she didn't know why. It was Hurricane Utah way back when. She didn't know or care about men. On each endeavor she scored 10. And once she was a victim of a poison pen. And it was scribbled down drunk, posted sober, all tethered up with hopes and fears. And on the stamp was a picture of Elvis. And even he couldn't help stop those tears. She went to college in Salt Lake City. She was surrounded by a million books, Irish poems and William Shakespeare. She kept her counsel and she kept her looks. And it was scribbled down drunk, posted sober, all tethered up with hopes and fears. And on the stamp was a picture of Elvis. And even he couldn't help stop those tears. Now she walks to school with a gun in her handbag. She dreams of a time when it all made sense. She never going back to Hurricane Utah. To the tree and the swing and the picket fence. And it was scribbled down drunk, posted sober, all tethered up with hopes and fears. And on the stamp was a picture of Elvis. And even he couldn't help stop those tears. Scribbled down drunk, posted sober, all tethered up with stamp was a picture of Elvis. And even he couldn't help stop those tears.
Fond kiss and then we sever. Farewell and then forever. Even heart-wrung tears I press thee. Warning sighs and groans I wait. I'll never blame my partial fancy. Nathan could resist my Nancy. Just to see her was to love but her and love forever. Had we never loved so kindly, had we never loved so blindly, never met or never parted, we had never been broken hearted. Fare thee well, thou first and fairest. Fare thee well, thou best and dearest. Thine be ilka joy and treasure, peace, enjoyment, love and pleasure. Kiss and then we sever. A farewell and then forever. Even heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee. Warring sighs and groans I'll wait thee.
Okay, well, we've kind of reached the end of the programme now, friends. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for spending the evening with us. And we'll finish with a couple of songs from Michael here. I never knew Michael myself, but I've heard so many great stories about him from friends who did know him. And I'll just tell you one just now. Deacon Blue had asked him to be the support act on a European tour, and Michael was very pleased to do that. So they set off on this 25-day European tour, and I think on the first night, as Lorraine was going back to the tour bus, she saw Michael sitting on the steps of the tour bus selling his CDs to fans. So the next morning, she said to him, Michael, I saw you, but you were selling your CDs off the bus. You don't need to do that. Just put your stuff. We'll set aside a section of our sort of product table and put your stuff in that. You'll sell better. And he went, oh, Lorraine, I've sold out. She said, what? on the first night of the tour, you've sold out all your stuff. He said, yeah, sold out. He said, that's fantastic, Michael. How many CDs did you bring with you? He went, 12. European tour.
Michael Marra. Oh dear. So that story may not support the idea that he was a very optimistic man, but he was an optimistic man, and his songs tell that story. And so we're going to finish up with two songs that are among his most optimistic. The first is the Bucks doing a song from an album called On Stolen Stationery, and the song is called Like a Rolling Stone. And that's the song that encourages you to make an optimistic sound. So I'll just remind you that we're inviting you to check out Optimistic Sound and maybe think of making a donation to that charity that's supporting young people in Dundee to learn how to play music. And then we're finishing with a song called All Will Be Well, which is another number off the Postage Robot album. And we're really pleased that we got permission to use this particular recording of it because Solace Festival, whom some of you will know, and I know that maybe some of you have been at, invited a bunch of people to get together and got permission to make a recording of this song of Michael's. And so they got people who have performed at the festival over the years. The festival obviously wasn't able to happen this last summer because of one thing and another. But they got people who have performed at the festival, Corinne Powart, Ragged Dixit, lots of folk, and lots of friends of the festival. And the Greater Glasgow Health Board Choir, they all got together and recorded it, and it's a lovely version of the song. So we thank folk at Solace for that, and we encourage you to have a look at Solace Festival if you don't know anything about that. That's a place that we hope will keep going once this darkness has passed. And we're grateful to them for the opportunity to use the song. So I think, Swan, is that everything? Have we said everything?
Just remains for invite you to raise your glass and let's toast the health of Robbie, Michael, all the folk that have played tonight, all the talent that we've fostered or failed to foster, and these are our native shores, and to ourselves, to yourselves, health and all you wish for yourself for the rest of the year. Here's to us. Cheers.
Cheers.
And we'll see you in March.
Don't let your sail blow over. Don't let your ship go down. Batten down the four-leaf of clover and tell yourself you're glory bound. And never mind your needless moaning. Remember how you come into town. Not a comb, nor a hammer, nor a feather, nor a fight, nor a hoe, nor a spanner, nor a fiddle, nor a fife. Not a hand on your shoulder in a bitter and a biting cold. You could be out in the street and on your own, just like another rolling stone. Don't let your heart get weary. Don't let your lip go down. bright and cheery, make the optimistic sound. And when you feel the wind getting colder, remember how you come into town.
Not a comb, not a hammer, nor a feather, nor a flite, nor a hoe, nor a spanner, nor a fiddle, nor a fife.
Not a hand on your shoulder in a bitter and a biting cold. You could be out in the street and on your own, just like another rolling stone. Don't let your tent blow over. Don't let your lights go down. Recognize the rootless rover. Try to make a joyful sound. And when you feel the best bit's over, remember how you come into town.
Not a comb, not a hammer, nor a feather, nor a flite. Not a comb, nor a hammer, nor a feather, nor a flite, nor a hoe, nor a spanner, nor a fiddle, nor a fife.
You could be out in the street and on your own, just like another rolling stone.
If you want to go out walking, I will sweep the street. I'll scan the horizon for malcontents and less than heavenly witnesses.
I'll be three men in grey suits, looking upwards and downwards and all aroundwards. I'll shield and protect you. I'm here to defend you.
If you feel like dancing, I'll be by your side. Big band, the fountain, here and home and moonlight. All will be well. You may do as you please. No harm will befall you while I live and breathe.
If it's flowers of the rarest, I will pluck those blooms. I'll climb where they climb, and I will reach where they stretch, and I will fill your room.
I'll be four girls walking backwards, casting petals in your footsteps.
As you make your
With me to rest, playing trumpets and skirling, 16 old clergymen, barking and howling.
If you feel like dancing, I'll be by your side. With a big band, a fountain, and little drum and moonlight. All will be well. You may do as you please. No harm will befall you while I live and breathe. While I live and
If you
breathe.
can't breathe, let me be the pressure release. Make space in the crowd so you can do as you please. And if you still can't breathe, I'll bulldoze the factories, reroute the streets, clean the rivers and plant the trees. And if my place isn't blameless, I'll clean my house, not just point my finger or keep my heat down. We say all will be well, you say we gon' be alright, and our voice amplifies till the words intertwine.
If you feel like dancing, I'll be by your side. With a big band, a